Guys, Season of the Haunted is here, and let me tell you, the Solar 3.0 revamp is insane for all classes. Now, if you've ever wanted to live out your Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Roy Mustang, Flame Alchemist Fantasy, the Warlock has a new melee, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about pretty much an infinite melee build that you can use with the new melee, Incinerator Snap. So it's the same thing with Void 3.0, Solar 3.0 looks like this. It's freaking crazy. We have a lot of stuff to cover in this video, but like I mentioned, the new melee, Incinerator Snap. You snap your fingers to create a fan of burning sparks that explodes and scorches targets. Now there are two new things here. Scorch, pretty much the target is singed by destructive solar light, taking damage over time. Scorch damage increases as the target accumulates more scorch stacks. After enough scorch stacks are applied to the target, they ignite, and then you have ignition, a large solar explosion which deals damage in an area around the target. So pretty much as long as you apply enough scorch stacks from, any of your abilities, they explode. All right, let's dive into this infinite melee build. So for super wise, you can use Daybreak or Well of Radiance. On top of there being the ignition and scorch, there are also some healing benefits to the solar subclass in general. So we have restoration. You regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage, so it's pretty much continuous. And then radiant, your weapons are enhanced by the power of the traveler and deal increased damage to foes. On top of that, Phoenix Dive is also a class ability now, which you dive to the ground and create a burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. While you have Heat Rises active, which again is an aspect we'll talk about, you gain restoration while diving and scorch targets upon landing. And again, this has Cure, which you are healed in a burst of mending solar light. So again, that is the other healing factor on top of the Solar 3.0 update. It's freaking crazy. Movement wise, I'm just using Burst Glide, and then Grenade. I'm using Fusion Grenade, but you can choose one of the four here. And personally, I wouldn't go with the Healing Nade for this, but pretty much with Touch of Flame, this is a new solar aspect. Your healing, solar, Firebolt, and Fusion Grenades have an enhanced functionality. So for the Healing Grenade, it improves the strength and cure and restoration effects applied. Solar Grenade increases linger duration, periodically emits blobs of lava around its perimeter. Firebolt Grenade increases target search radius and maximum target count. And then the Fusion Grenade explodes twice, which is kind of why I was using this, but also you can use the Solar Grenade. I was liking these two. Healing Grenade, maybe not so much. Firebolt, I don't know. It's okay. It does scorch them and you can do more targets, but I want to do that like single target, like big boss, so I can hit them and scorch them and ignite them and do that really big damage. So obviously aspect wise, I'm using Touch of Flame. The other one I'm using is Heat Rises, like we mentioned. You can fire weapons, melee, and throw grenades while gliding. If you hold your grenade, it activates Heat Rises, consuming your grenade, and final blows while airborne increase the duration of Heat Rises and grant melee energy. Keep that in mind because again, this is a melee build, so we're going to be in the air quite often. And so if you're weak, you do have the Phoenix Dive as kind of like your oh crap button, right? Fragment wise, again, we still have a couple that we need to unlock, and then Ember of Benevolence is deactivated right now because it's not working as intended. So these are the ones that I'm using that I found to work really well. And the couple of them that are just like blurred out, I was like, these might work, but I think these are the best ones you can use. So Ember of Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and your nearby allies radiant, so you get that buff to weapon damage. Okay, it's melee build. Might as well have that buff weapon damage as well, right? Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Again, might as well blow stuff up while we're snapping away, right? Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy. Again, it's a melee build. We want more melee, right? And then Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets, which means they're going to explode more often with the ignition. All right, let's go over the mods I'm using. So first up, hands-on. Gain bonus super energy on melee kills. Again, Incinerator Snap. Might as well get a fast super. And again, I just have Harmonic Siphon on. Rapid weapon final blows with damage matching your subclass type, create an orb of power. Again, there are benefits to solar weapons this time around with Solar 3.0. But again, you could just rock double hands on to get that super even faster. I'm just using this for now. But again, I would recommend using double hands on. And then Melee Wellmaker. Powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. So again, Incinerator Snap, you get the kill. Solar Well. For the exotic, you guessed it, we're using the Claws of Ahamkara. I have not pulled these things out of the vault in so long, I had to infuse it. It was 1350, which means I know dang well I haven't used this thing in a while. But pretty much, you gain an additional melee charge. So you get 2 Incinerator Snaps back to back, right? So, first mod, Impact Induction. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown, which might as well get that grenade cooldown. And then Well of Life. Picking up a solar elemental well grants increased regeneration for a short period of time, which is your health. Again, if you're going to be in midair, getting shot at, you might as well pick up a well, continue running around, and continuing to have your health regen with Solar 3.0. This is just a benefit on top of the regeneration, the cure, and all that other stuff. For the chest piece, main thing to note, Explosive Well Maker. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a solar elemental well. You know, I thought about doing, something like Elemental Ordnance, where if you defeat a combatant with a grenade, it spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. But I feel like with the Incinerator snap and the changes with Scorch and then that going into Ignition for the explosions, I have a better chance of getting another solar well on top of all the explosions that are occurring with Incinerator snap and the Fusion Grenade or the Solar Grenade, whatever you want to use. For the boots, this kind of goes with Harmonic Siphon, the mod I had on the helmet, but Invigoration reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Again, if you're low on melee, this is a way to do that. But again, with Heat Rise, as long as you're getting kills within midair, you do get melee energy. But the main thing to note here is Heavy-Handed. While charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, consuming 1 stack of Charge of Light. Plus, I have the benefit of using another arc mod here while surrounded by multiple combatants. Defeating a combatant with a fusion rifle, shotgun, sidearm, or submachine gun adds ammo for that weapon to your reserve, so that's just a passive benefit. But pretty much, if you're charged with light, use the melee, you get half that melee back. And then lastly on my class item, main things to note, Outreach reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. So again, if you don't have your melee, you can always Phoenix Dive, get health back, and then also have melee energy, which is fantastic. And then obviously going in with Heavy-Handed, we have Elemental Charge. Become Charge of Light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well's elemental type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of Charge of Light. So again, having the Melee Well Maker and Explosive Well Maker creating those solar wells, you pick those up. As long as you're continuing to pick up wells, you will continue to proc Heavy-Handed, which means you will continue to have your Incinerator snap melee. And again here, main stats to focus on would be Strength. Strength decreases the cooldown time of your melee ability, allowing you to use it more often. And again, I have this completely maxed out, so the melee cooldown is very fast on top of all the other mods I just explained, which reduce my melee cooldown. Now, weapon-wise, I know a lot of people were talking about Skyburner's Oath and that coming back because with the artifact, you do get Unstoppable Scout, which is fine. I just don't like Skyburners. Plus, there's something new. So I got this Callus Mini tool like first day with Incandescent. This is a new perk. Defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. So this perk pretty much coincides with all of your Scorch and Ignition with your abilities. So being able to have this can be freaking insane. And then on top of that, I switched this out for Sunshot as well. Sunshot is fantastic this season. It's always great in PvE, I think. Unfortunately, there are no artifact mods for it this time around, but still, with Solar 3.0 and you just want stuff to explode, Sunshot is fantastic for this. If you haven't been picking up what I've been putting down, pretty much the synergy, right? You get a kill with your melee or solar explosions, melee well maker and explosive well maker proc, spawning a solar well. You pick up that solar well, you get Well of Life, which is health regen continuous for about 10 seconds. And then you pick it up, you get Elemental Charge, makes you Charge of Light times 2 because it's a solar well. And then you can use Heavy-Handed, so as long as you're using your melee and picking up elemental wells, guess what? You're going to have your melee very often. Oh, if you're using solar weapons and creating orbs with Harmonic Siphon, you pick those up, proccing Invigoration. Guess what? You get your melee more often. You kind of see where this is going. Plus with hands-on, you get your super faster. And if you are out of your melee, you can always Phoenix Dive to get it back with Outreach on the class item. And then obviously with Heat Rises, as long as you're getting kills in midair, you will get melee energy. So there is literally no way you can't have your melee with this build. It's insane. I'm having a great time with it. And, obviously with Solar 3.0, there are a lot of other great exotics that you can use here, and I'm going to be coming out with more builds for Solar 3.0. Trust me, I got a lot of stuff in the works for you guys this time around this season. I know it's kind of lacking last season just because Void 3.0 was crazy and I had a lot of work stuff come up, but I am very excited for the season and all the content that I'm going to be able to produce out of this, and I really hope you guys enjoy using this build. But in any event, as you could tell, we're getting to the end of the video, guys. If you like what you saw, again, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another one of these builds. Also, I do stream live on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. I mainly play Destiny, obviously with the new season, that's what I'm going to be doing. We do have some editing streams sometimes, and maybe I'll start going live on YouTube here as well because I kind of want to test a couple things out, so just keep a lookout. And lastly, if you want to join my community, I do have a Discord. That link will be in the description. If you guys want to come in, we obviously talking about Destiny 2, all that fun stuff, more topics like PC tech, anime, and other games as well. But in any event, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you in the next one.